Sure. Cool. 3, 2, 1. Fake clap. Welcome to the AfrOtaku Podcast, episode 61. I'm Mr. Good Guy AMGG, and I'm joined here by my co-host who will introduce himself starting right now.
Hey, it's Player 5.
What's going on? It's Joker.
What up, what up, what up? I am Gramps.
Cool. All right. Kicking it straight off with story time, but as usual, we're asking a AfrOtaku's question. So this one comes from TikTok, the world of TikTok actually, and it was a video. I think his name is Just the Baseman. I'll add the details in it somewhere in the description or whatever. But anyways, he was talking verse and who he wanted to see casted as different stuff. And he actually said he wanted Giancarlo Esposito, who I believe is the guy who plays the Los Pollos. What do you call it? Why am I bad? That guy, he wanted him to play Charles Xavier, and then he wanted Denzel Washington to play Magneto. So I'm not going to talk about the first part, but I am very interested because when he said that, to me, it clicked in a bunch of different ways. But Washington as Magneto, do we think that that is a good move or a bad move for Marvel?
Of course, he can pull it off.
I mean, he could pull it off, but I think the key of what NGG just said there be like good for Marvel, which is going to be like interesting. So I'm like, introducing the whole multiverse, expanded like our watcher kind of like state of mind as far as, who could really play who and like what really makes sense. So even going back to like, I think like, well, who did it first? Like maybe like Loki or something. But anyways, um, I just feel like, as always, the community is gonna be looking at the fact of it being race. Like Denzel is like the top actor to us because obviously we grew up with homie, right? Everybody else ain't gonna be feeling that same way in almost like every other racial group, right? So as soon as like Denzel, again, like a popular big time actor, but still more so for the black community than everyone else. It's like, how is that really going to impact MCU as a long run? At least if they keep Denzel like in that role for multiple movies, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm just like, I mean, overall though, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like that movie would be hot as far as like the true role of like the kind of characters personas that Denzel plays, like matching with Magneto. That's more or less spot on to me also when I first saw that too. So the logic is there, but as far as how like everyone else is gonna react, I feel like there's definitely gonna be some. It's gonna be like another controversy, another debate, and it's just I don't know. I'm just getting kind of annoyed in that concept. It's like I want to keep pushing it, for the wave for the community, like 100%. But it's like it's just so tiring to keep on going through that same debate that anyone could be anyone on TV. But
What was the last one? The Little Mermaid. That was the
right,
last one when
I mean,
everybody
it's
went up
like
in arms.
like people were really hot about that, bro. Like we're talking about Disney right now. Like fuck,
They
like
were
there
mad
were
about
even like
She-Hulk.
other. Oh, what's up?
No, I said they were mad about She-Hulk. They were mad about I think in Obi-Wan, not Andor, Obi-Wan though. The sister or whatever, there's like a black
Oh,
woman
right,
that plays a
right, right,
Jedi.
Oh yeah,
Mad about that.
and then the Game of Thrones, right? There was like a whole black
Oh
tribe.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the
the Valerians. They was cold though.
Yeah,
no, I mean that's just it. I mean, oh, go ahead, P5.
I was going to say, I think that the whole issue with that, and that sometimes I can agree with some of them, is like, I don't want a change just to see a change, right? Because then I feel like you're kind of treating people like they're less than and they can't compete. What I want is people to be given a fair chance and then let the best person succeed. And then on top of that, if you are making a racial change, I personally would like it to come with like some type of weight to it, right? Like I don't just want to see black Magneto, right? Just to see a nigga up there. It's tons of black people. Give me Spike. You fucking mean? Like give me
Right.
Storm. But this is what I would say, right? I do think Denzel would fit as Magneto because he can deliver these like really good monologues, and we know Magneto is known for basically being like a charismatic dictator, right? I think that Denzel could pull that off. I don't agree with casting a black man as Magneto for one reason.
Oh, I
I
messed up. Oh, yeah.
oh, what'd you say?
No. I like as soon as you said that, it's like that's true too. But anyways, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that one big reason I don't agree with casting him as a black man is because a lot of Magneto's identity, why he don't fuck with and he don't trust with people in general, is because he was a Jew during the time of the Nazis, right? That may make him a little bit too old to be our Magneto, but I think that then we should relate him to a religious struggle of the modern century. I think he should be a Muslim. If we recast him nowadays, Magneto should be a Muslim. I love to see that nigga, bro. That go hard for me.
I mean, again, like from a movie standpoint, it's actually a very interesting idea. I would like to see that on screen too. But I think that would even more like inflame the public as far as like going from Jewish to
But
Muslim.
that'd make it so funny, bro.
I mean, well,
Like,
funny.
oh, man, my boy
I mean, bro,
black,
you're just sitting back watching
that's
the
the
chaos.
point.
Like, I get it, but you already know the community. Like, that would
But
be.
let's think about X-Men though. The whole point of X-Men is to be like, y'all niggas is racist. How can you root for these mutants while
And
doing the same thing? Y'all
Yeah.
niggas didn't like
but
Jews. How can you root for Magneto when going through the same thing?
but I feel like that's why it should be a black dude. But anyways,
Now,
I'll jump in.
no.
I'll jump in with mine. So like to me, the reason why I felt like this worked, right, was because the thing that I hear a lot, and I don't know if this is just like Stanley like let it run and he didn't really mean this, or if it's true. I don't have the history, the like comic book backing, so correct me if I'm wrong here. But they've always talked about this whole Charles Xavier's MLK, Magneto is Malcolm X thing, right?
Yeah, I've heard that before
Why
too.
not bring that to the 21st century? One, two, Denzel played Malcolm X. Three,
True.
Denzel, like my biggest issue with Magneto was even though he had such a sad story, like one of my favorite scenes from the original X-Men movies was the beginning where they show Magneto as a kid activating his powers during the Holocaust. You get what I'm saying? Like that was a very meaningful moment where I felt like connected to the villain. My problem is after that, I never felt connected with Magneto. Like every time Magneto did some shit, it still felt like I was on the side of the X-Men. I never fully like was on his side in the argument. To me, Denzel is the guy to play a villain where you'll definitely be on his side. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does.
Mhm.
John Q. That was got a guy, holding up a hospital, but you wanted that man to win the whole time. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like he's gonna play a more likable villain. And then two, if you're playing that whole race thing in general, why not just bring it now in the 21st century? I think those issues are at the height right now. And Denzel would be like the perfect vehicle to kind of like voice the like I don't want to say extremist, but like this makes sense given what happened to black people, why he's standing on the side that he's standing. And I think
Mm.
people would be a lot well, at least me. White people may not get it, but I think black people would be a lot more like, I don't know if this nigga is wrong. The same way they were like in Black Panther, on Michael B. Jordan's side. Like, in Michael B.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan to me
That's what I
was
was
just a
thinking of.
tad bit more crazy than I think Denzel would play that role. I that role to where you're like, no, this nigga's spin. Like Michael B. Jordan was like, niggas was like, yeah, I rock with what he's saying, but to me, I was still like, that nigga a little bit. He a little bit crazy.
And with
That's
Michael
like
B.
the
Jordan's
same.
role, he sounded like a young, angry black man, essentially.
Right.
Mm.
So it
And
didn't hit as hard.
but exactly. But with Denzel, you're gonna get that poise of like, no, nigga, I thought about this shit. Like, you can't just counter me with your little whatever's. Like, no, I got a one up for that too. And to me, having that relationship, you're still going to see him as a good person at heart, but at the same villain. Like, I think that's gonna be a villain that I'm like, oh, I'm actually on your side. And that was something I always wanted from Magneto because given his story and the you feel like you should be on his side, but I don't know if it's just me. felt like that nigga was right. I always felt like when I was
Yeah.
TV show, it just always seemed like I was just never really on this nigga side. And I think that would be the first time I'm like, yep, I feel like this is how Magneto should be played. Somebody where I totally get the side you stand on, and I can see how you convince people who aren't just evil, because a lot of the people on Magneto's side, at least the way it was played in the TV show, those mutants were either outcasts or just like actual assholes. To me, I could see people where you're like, no, this actually a good guy who got convinced to be on Magneto's side. You feel what I'm saying? I could see niggas from the X-Men side actually switching because this guy spin. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you really wanna, come on, bro. You saw what just happened to your brother, sister, whatever. Like, you never gonna get that on my side, bro. We gonna run they fade. We gonna pull up.
Question: did they ever have any of that in My Hero Vigilantes? Did they ever have that type of thing where you had to question? Okay, this nigga got superpowers, and he over here trying to do superhero stuff, even though he's not qualified superhero. And that with that being like illegal and everything, did that conversation ever pop up within Vigilantes?
Not of. Like, they keep it pretty simple in Vigilantes, or like not that I can think of at least right now. I feel like for the most part in My Heroes Vigilantes, things were straightforward. Like, this guy is the bad guy. He's doing bad things for like obviously bad reasons, and this guy's a good guy doing good things for good reasons. It wasn't too much.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to try to see if we had like an example of somebody that was like that we can say, okay, this nigga is a great example of somebody that we've seen within the anime or manga community who actually shows us what that would be like, where you can
Maybe
say,
like
okay,
Light?
I can take his side. Who? Light?
Yeah, like, I mean, Light's original purpose was just to kill bad people.
Criminals. Yeah.
Then he
True.
started tweaking, you know what I mean? So maybe him. You know something? I will say this. I think that I agree with y'all that Magneto lends himself to being a black man because of the situation they put him in to be an allegory to black plight. The only reason I would still urge to keep him as a religious outcast and not a racial outcast is for one small detail. Maybe they don't even have to bring it up. I know that sometimes there are like the ugly mutants that are like, hey, Magneto, why would I follow you? Why would I listen to you? You don't know the shit I have to go through. You get to be like a pretty mutant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And then his response is always kind of like, basically, my boy, I was a Jew. I was being persecuted before this mutant shit. You know what I'm saying? And then that get niggas to kind of fuck with him and respect with him. And it's not necessarily like,
Can't you use that argument as a black person too, though?
100%. That's what I was thinking about that. I was like, literally, we walk out with this darker skin.
I literally, like, you could be like,
we could have gave him some time. Like, I was listening. I was trying to give him some time. Y'all hit the gun, man. He could have got there. He was gonna get there.
I was like, police killing me left and right, my G, bro. Like, they don't want me on these streets either.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we could cast him. You know, my vote is gonna be no.
Yeah,
but
I personally feel like we not ready for it. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think in order for that to happen, like, have to be something that I would say is like almost like a Joker in the DCU, where it's just a movie that's kind of off to the side and its own like thing. Because I feel like bringing you, they're not going to hit on the topics that need to be hit. It's just going to be Denzel is playing Magneto and not like Denzel is playing Magneto. Like, the topics that we want him to hit and like explore, I think needs to be explored by a director that's ready to have those conversations, or like a writer team that's ready to have those conversations.
Another thing with MCU, I feel like if they want a really big role, they don't hire niggas that you know like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They always pick some dude where you go like, I think I know him, but you don't.
I've seen you before.
Yeah.
BC list kind of thing.
I ain't gonna lie. One person that I could see it if it wasn't somebody that was black, because technically I think he's like Mexican or something. old buddy from Kaleidoscope or from
Yeah, that's the guy that there's in the video he was saying should
oh, they
play
wanted him to be the they
Charles
wanted
Charles Xavier, which I thought was
oh
interesting. I was like,
I
he's
think
typically a villain.
yeah,
or
I would
kind of an asshole.
much
Now,
I would
I
much
think
more
he'd
likely
be a
see him.
perfect- I think he'd be a perfect Charles Xavier, bro. Because
Really?
he like sweet and you fuck with him, but he also got that bad side because like Charles is a good
Yep.
guy 90% of the time.
But he
There's
gotta make them
5% of the
decisions.
time where that nigga's like an absolute
Evil.
like like bro, that's objectively evil. That nigga was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, little girl, your powers are strong. I'm about to mentally break you up, nigga. Like
Seal that
you're
shit up, my G.
lobotomized. And then just live with her, like, yeah, Jean Grey, we going on missions, not knowing like, I'm being
Right.
Like,
And that would be a great. That's why I think it has to be like an isolated thing because I feel like you really need the creative control to do whatever you want with both those characters. Because, like you said, it's like Magneto, Denzel being Magneto is like the likable villain, but him is like the kind of evil good guy.
yeah,
So,
the
like,
good
you
guy
see
when he
the
got
X-Men
the
team he
old-
brought together, but you looking at him and you just see that little darkness in the back of his eye, like, oh, he kind of asshole, like, you know what I'm saying? And
No, I was
they
gonna.
all slowly start to like get that about him. It's like, yeah, we fuck with Charles, but like, there's something about that nigga that's just a little bit.
No, I was gonna actually
I don't know, I think
piggyback
it'd be
on that
great.
in the aspect of like if Denzel really is Magneto, you're gonna more or less kind of need that as like a jumping pad or like as a foundation as far as to more or less how to build up the entire movie, in my opinion. So I mean, it's all gonna kind of be revolved around that big switch in Magneto's character in itself that changes just the whole story. Not the whole story, but a still reasonable amount of the story where other stuff is going to be impacted / need to be reconsidered.
Yeah.
So
To,
it's
to
like
me, they're
it's
too
not.
big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying like pretty much like to piggyback off what you were saying as far as to the like the fact that this movie would need to be almost like its side project, like
Mhm.
that in itself means that I mean you are kind of given the freedom and opportunity to more or less make that the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
to go away from the typical like X-Men like story in the sense that like yes these are the big topics that's driving the movie, but at the same time they're still low key, right? Like they're not like
Mhm.
in your face like that, but for this project that's exactly what it's going to be. Because of that,
Right.
since you're bringing the background to the foreground, so much more is going to be impacted, including like the cast and even like their side stories as well. So I mean, it's not just Magneto you have to consider it's going to be Denzel. It's like how we were just talking about for Charles, and even the the mutants on both sides are going to need to be different than what we're even used to. So I mean, it's like you said, it's like a completely separate movie almost into that point where I mean, you could. It depends on the watcher as far as to what they like, what everyone really wants at this point in time. But if we're talking about like mainstream X-Men, like it's just not going to happen. At least not right now. Probably not for a while, for being honest. Unfortunately, so.
Right.
Who's the character that had the super speed?
Flash
X-Men?
or Quicksilver.
Yeah, in X-Men. Yeah, Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Yeah, just make that as just a random black guy. Bump it.
Well, I mean, he is Magneto's son, so
That's
technically,
true, that's true,
if he
that's
is
true.
black, he would have to be.
just a random black guy who's fast. Bump it.
Yeah.
They'll go with that.
I mean, that'd be crazy because he definitely gets shot by the police. That'd be the crazy
Ooh.
part, though.
Yeah, but he dodging it though.
He sure would.
Too slow.
That'd probably be how he discovered his powers.
True.
Damn. See,
It could get real.
Woo.
You know, that's why I said we're not ready for it because I don't think anyone is going to have the courage enough to write that story the way it
Mhm.
needs to be written. Like,
Mhm.
to be real honest about what's going on in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I just don't think that they would allow it to land. Like, we're getting a lot more shows that kind of more open with discussing this, but in that superhero realm, I just feel like there's gonna be some weird pushback to not let it land the way it needs to land. Like they
Mhm.
did it with Black Panther, which I was happy, but even then, you know,
I
if
mean,
you
they
take
had
a
an
look at that
excuse.
story objectively, yeah, it was still kind of like Michael B. Jordan made sense, but it felt like they added that edge of craziness, so you just couldn't fully be on his side. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then they didn't explore that debate a little bit more of like, look, bro, like, and I'm talking just being a person from Africa, not even an African American, but like, um, having a country like Wakanda and the types of conflicts that have gone on in Africa, for those niggas to sit there and do absolutely nothing, like that's a big like what the fuck is going on with y'all?
Where were
Like
they at
that's
for Coney
yeah, that's
2012?
a huge like issue. Like niggas would have a serious problem with that. And I
Mhm.
don't honestly think that T'Challa or even his father, knowing that that stuff was going on and them being so advanced, would have chose to just opt out of that situation for as many years as they did. But
Hey, but
you
real
know,
talk, they was right though. As we see with Wakanda Part 2, them
right.
niggas coming out got niggas thirsty for vibranium, which made my nigga Namor have to pull up.
Oh,
You
shit.
feel me? If y'all would have
Oof.
just kept on letting them do what they do, everybody be living happy right now.
Oof.
That's true, but yeah. So I just felt like they wouldn't allow them to write the story. It's a story I want to see, but I don't think it's gonna get greenlit in the way I needed to get greenlit. But if they did it though, I to me that probably go down top five favorite movies of all time. If they did that,
Mm.
Mm.
I think so.
He said
I
before.
easily.
He said before I even see the plot.
If
Top
you did
five.
it right, if the team was right, so Denzel's in there, John Carlo's in there, and there's a director and writer that I like can go to their projects and go like they've written great stories and directed great movies. Oh yeah, I definitely could put it in my top five without it being released.
Mhm.
I'd have that
Hey,
confidence.
Damn.
I'm
He
gonna
said
go ahead.
stocks.
I put my money behind it, but I ain't gonna lie. My money is more behind Giancarlo Esposito than it is Denzel for carrying this. Denzel gonna do what Denzel gonna do, but
That's facts.
I still would rather
That's
have that
facts.
nigga as Magneto. I'm sorry. He's
he'd
just too
do a good
smooth with the eating
Magneto
side.
too.
Yeah.
He'd do a great Magneto too. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a talented.
But I feel like his Magneto is gonna be evil. Like that's it. It's just like he's a great
Yeah,
evil
like
Magneto. Like I would be scared if I was not a mutant and that guy was Magneto. I would move away from wherever country that nigga is. Like that's how I would feel. With Denzel, I'm like, oh, maybe there's a discussion that could be had. With him, I know it's genocide. It's over with. I know niggas is getting killed for sure, getting spilled. Anyways, all right. Is that it on that one? Anyone else closing comments?
no.
All right, let's jump into the anime segment.
Oh,
So
we want to
first
go
up on
talk
the
about
anime
that
segment,
Rock Lee short.
Will Rock Lee short.
I see in the notes something about Rock Lee short.
Oh, I don't see it.
Oh,
He talking about in the very top.
Oh, you talking about over there? That I don't
oh,
even
that
know
was a
what the
different
short
thing. My
was,
bad.
bro.
I'm tweaking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cut it out.
But but anyways, Record of Ragnarok season 2 dropped. I watched it. I don't know who. I know Gramps watched it. Anybody else watch it? All right. Well, light review of the series. I guess we can talk. Definitely the budget went up. I could tell that. The animation is a lot better than season 1, but I did still see with the Hercules and Jack the Ripper fight some of that 3D cell shaded shit,
Mm.
which I wasn't a big fan of. But overall, I thought it's getting a little bit more interesting as far as the two fights that we saw. Potential fight um between like Buddha and the low-key little beef thing. We had Hercules and Jack the Ripper, and then we had uh
Some sumo dude.
his name. Yeah, huge sumo guy, what's his name? Shiva. The god,
The
the Hindu
Indian
god.
god.
Mhm.
Yeah. So to me, I didn't really like that second fight with the sumo guy. I actually like the Hercules Jack the Ripper fight a bit more because I like the battle. I thought that he was I'm a sucker for strategy. So Jack the Ripper's whole play with the what his real treasure was the whole time, I thought was like
Mm-hmm.
and nicely done. I like the whole, talk about Hercules stuff. So that one I liked a lot more than the second fight. But overall, I think it's a better season 2 than season 1. I just hate that they take so long on these fights. Like they take like 3 episodes, and
Yeah,
sometimes
really?
it's good, sometimes
yeah,
it's
that was the
bad.
thing that was the thing that got me.
Yeah, you're only getting 2 fights a whole season. Like I was pretty disappointed to just be like, I wanted a bit more. So I
Exactly,
would
because
say
didn't we get 3 fights during the first season?
I think so. We got
Because we got Adam
Poseidon
versus
versus
Zeus.
Dude. Yeah,
We got
Adam
Adam
versus
versus
Zeus,
Zeus,
and
the
then
swordsman versus Poseidon, and then that was
Lubu versus. So yeah, we got 3.
exactly. And I
Yeah,
was like,
so to
I was like, please let us have 3 in this season, but nope.
yeah, to me we needed the fights, especially being that it's like a year between seasons. Like to only get 2
Mhm.
fights, I finished the whole thing in a day. That whole season, so I'm just like, bro,
Mhm.
I needed a little bit more if you're gonna make me wait another year on the next
Wait,
season.
so again, how many episodes are these seasons?
It was 10 episodes for the second
Yeah,
season. Now I feel like it might
30
have been
minutes,
12.
and I
Yeah,
think they were 30 minutes apiece.
I feel like it might have been 12 episodes for the first season. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that though.
But yeah, either way, they I feel like they used the episodes that they would have had a third fight in to do this. Um, there's like a conflict between the gods going on thing with
Hmm.
Buddha and like some of the other main gods. So they wasted like an episode or 2 on that. And
Yep.
that was where I think they could have just filled it in with another fight. But instead, we know at the end of the season that like Buddha is up to fight and he basically is a traitor. So
Yep.
for the gods. So to me, either way, I'll still keep watching, but I would say this season was better than the first, and I'd overall give it maybe like a decent as hell minus to a decent plus. I can't say it was like super amazing. Like I said, the formula is the formula of any of these tournament arc type of shows. So like your Bakis, your Kegan Ashras, it's this person pulls out a super move. You think it's gonna win, but no, this person has another one up. So it's just a one up battle until you finally find out who wins with some added in there. So the formula
Hmm.
is the same, and I've seen other shows do it better. So to me, it's just like a nice watch because I like the lore. Like I like seeing the different gods. I love seeing the humans they pick, and I love seeing their little interactions in the audience with like the people that were familiar with them. But like I said, the Bakis and the Kagan Ashras of the world have done it better, so I can't have a rating.
I gotta say, MGG, I'm very surprised that you didn't mention this one thing. The sumo dude, given that
Yeah,
he's
no,
given that he's this extremely large guy and everything, he's very lustful and all of that, and loving on all of these, regular sized women. But as soon as he saw the Valkyrie chick, who is a even larger woman than what he was, basically think of Futurama with the snoo women. And he said when he saw it, he was like, "Oh yes, that's me."
yeah,
Man, instantly flew to it. Was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta have you. You mine?"
they
And she
basically
was
got married. They basically
basically
got married, right?
on the spot, on site. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's one for the guys who like big women right there."
Oh yeah,
She,
no, he was climbing her. You could climb her.
oh yeah. I was like, okay, so this is literally a snoo battle right here. I respect
Wow.
that. And then I also loved how much I was also getting like partially Hinamaru sumo vibes from the sumo guy with his fight against Shiva. I was like, okay, you guys are hitting me a little bit in the fields with that one because I was definitely I was loving that aspect of it, especially with all of the rest of the like sumo guys all showing their support and everything, that the whole camaraderie as guys who live that same craft, saying, yeah, this is one for us. He's doing this for us. Especially as somebody who really hasn't been big in sumo or whatever. Given that we're from America, you can see how everybody was together with that support. So I was feeling that a lot. And then just the whole idea of Hercules, even with his fight all the way to the end, his whole fight was done out of love. He didn't have not a drop of hate while he was fighting against Jack the Ripper. Even though we know all the craziness that Jack the Ripper has done, he still didn't have a drop of hate for him. So I was like, I respect that.
Yeah. What would you give the show season 2?
Because they only had 2 fights, I can't give it more than a decent as hell minus. if they would have had if I would have got a third fight out of it, I think it would have been a solid, decent as hell plus. But they hold me.
I agree. Okay. On to Blue Lock going crazy. I don't know who put that down there, but I agree. Who tossed Blue Lock going crazy on there?
Oh, it's none of us real.
Clarify that wasn't you.
P5, was that you?
Blue Lock going crazy.
You said which one was me?
Blue Lock going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I just been watching Blue Lock. Shit. If you haven't, wake up. Yeah. You know, most recently where I'm at it in the anime, I decided sub is good enough to watch sub. It ain't so good. Just
You made the
Yo,
transition.
what? Wait a minute.
Had to get across.
Holy shit. Yeah, I guess Blue Lock really is going crazy.
I'm at the point where they like are in stage 2 and they start out with 3 people. Then if they lose, they drop down to 2 and they got to build back up. And this nigga borrowed garbage, bro. Like,
what you mean dude, garbage?
The king, quote unquote, the king. He just basically buff as fuck, and he be manhandling these little kids. But he also like, no, I never pass, bro. He literally like, I'd rather lose than pass the ball. And they trying to play with this bum. And he get D'd up, like 3 niggas on him. D'd this man up, bro. Nothing but giving the ball up, straight bum. And then he just still over here talking about how he the king. I'd have been like, bro, don't pass this nigga the ball, you fucking bum.
He thought he was Kobe, man. What you mean?
He thought he was Kobe, but instead of putting up 81, he put up 5.
Hey, bro. Hey, the special thing about Baru to me, though, but first of all, 2 things, bro. One, the Blue Lock fan base going crazy. I'm manga caught up, and I'll say this: the part they tried with Baru, he gonna go through some shit, whatever. But the part he at right now in the manga, let's just say like niggas is ready to see what this nigga did, cause like let's just say niggas is ready to see what this nigga did.
Hold on, question.
Right now we just got some shit.
Question: does the manga really hit hard? Because I feel like that one would be kind of hard to really slap without the animation behind it.
All sports anime.
That shit slaps, bro. Like, cause the thing is, it's more about it works. The animation, like the drawings are good. Like, yeah, it's gonna hit harder in the anime, but no, I to me, the way I caught up with Blue Lock was the same way I caught up with Tokyo Revengers. That's how much I like Blue Lock. So when I watched, I don't even know how I got started with Tokyo Revengers. I think I started with the manga. But basically, I started a couple pages of the manga, and then I'm just like, bro, I couldn't stop reading that shit until I caught up. That's how it was with Blue Lock for me. Once I started reading that shit, I could not stop until I caught all the way up. Like, that's how interesting it is, the tension they build.
In the anime, they leave you on all these cliffhangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now I feel like that's the catch, really.
That's what drives you to the next one.
So I
exactly like within the match, it just be so much tension, and it'd be off. That's the thing about soccer. Like the goals are not a lot, so we're talking about like 1 to 2, 3, maybe 5 goals. Maybe have been the most I've seen, but I would say 3 or below is like the max amount of goals you're seeing. And it's like they're building that tension over like 10, 15 chapters of like one match is really like an arc in Blue Lock. So it was good though. But yeah, anyways, Baru, like he stays on that like that is his ego, is I'm gonna do this shit on my own. And they like try like, yo, that nigga Isagi, he tried to get him to do that. And they're like, whatever. But have you seen him outside of the thing yet? That was the one thing that I did like about Baru as a character, is when they take him out of the soccer match, he just like a funny, like clean freak, regular ass nigga. Yeah. But in soccer, he's an asshole. But outside of soccer,
like,
he's just like, hey, yo, what's up, Baru?
Like a thug, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm expecting Baru to be like, oh yeah, he like a Ichigo, like a, you know, like or you're a Urameshi, a thug nigga. I was like, he a clean freak.
Exactly. I thought that twist was decent. I like that.
But,
so
you know, other than that though, I think Blue Lock has been going crazy. I like everybody's like little skills. It's kind of interesting. But moving on to my next one, This is an isekai. I think is one of the most interesting. It's kind of like I mean, it's still just like your classic isekai trash, but it's interesting. Saving 80K gold for my retirement. Basically, this girl gets the power to jump between our world and a fantasy world, and then she like, damn, I'm just gonna make money out here. And she like instead of like going and learning master skills, like the first thing she do is go teleport to America, get guns, learn how to use them, strap the fuck up, and then go back and start selling random shit like from the dollar store. And people like, yo, the craftsmanship nuts. So I'm just like, it's funny. It's funny. I like it so far. I say watch it.
I gotta add something there though. I just like how the isekai genre has literally just become like a nigga's just like, what would I do if I went to an isekai world? I would
No,
do this,
real
and then they
talk.
make a whole series
No,
about
seriously,
it. Like
bro.
that's
Like
literally
the
what it's
Oh
become.
my god, the
Yeah.
whole genre is literally whatever, bro. I mean, you could be
Yeah.
a sword, you could be a skeleton, a fridge. Like what else
Bro.
they got?
Right.
The man said
You
a
could be
fridge.
a farm. No, I'm not even joking, bro. There
He's
is a
dead
manga
ass, though.
out
He's
there
dead ass.
reborn as a fridge in another world. Like it's
What?
Bro,
Hey,
They
wow.
got reborn
Anyway.
as a handyman.
Right, the handyman, I saw that too. Farmer, there's multiple
Reborn
farmers,
as a
by the
chef,
way.
bro. It's literally devolved into a bunch of random shows about, bro.
100%.
If I went back in time to these medieval niggas, this how I finesse.
This is
I
exactly
love
what
it.
I would
It's
do.
hilarious.
No, real talk,
Every
dude.
show is just like a what if, a big ass what if.
Like you being
Mhm.
a
Right.
manga writer, like right now, I mean, like for at least for isekais, like they're practically selling them like Netflix.
It's like they
it
just
sounded like.
greenlighting
I mean,
everything, bro. They just greenlighting everything,
Everything.
and seeing what stick. Just
The
oh,
It
nigga
just-
really went to a
to be a sock in the isekai world.
right.
Stamp,
Real
there you
talk
go.
though, that's not
The,
that's why
the
it's
world's
funny. It's not
the
even
world's
joking.
most powerful double S rank sock
Right.
every time.
No joke.
is
You
made
laugh,
of
but
my
bro, give it like a couple months, you're gonna see it. Like someone listening to us right now, like bro,
That's true.
this is crazy out here, dude. Thanks.
Yeah. The biggest thing that kills me about all of them is that it seems like most of them end up with a harem. I'm like, geez, how many people gotta have a harem?
That's just part of the isekai,
Socks.
bro. Again.
Socks need a harem too, man. Everybody needs.
Be fair, if a random nigga that looked completely different from everybody pulled up and was like, "Hey, bro, I got magic powers. Want to hang out?" I'd be like, "Yeah, this nigga magic, bro. I'm hanging out with him too." But that's been
That's
lit.
true. Like you got to think about it in the American context. If an alien came down and was just like, "Hey, bro, I came from another world where shit is just way better than what y'all got," and like I fuck with you. You want to do this shit or you want to go adventure with me? I'll probably
Right?
pick
I'll be
adventure
like,
with that
let's
nigga.
go,
Like,
Nah,
No.
especially to millennials and Gen Z. No, you're not wrong.
Right.
Yeah. They're
Yeah, I'm
practically
gone,
wishing
too.
for ish like that. So yeah.
You know that
Oh,
that
yeah.
brings me to a side conversation I've been asking people. It's the new bear. Would you fight a bear or caveman? I just be asking people like, yo, if an alien pulled up on you and was like, hey, bro, you want to come with me? We gonna go to this alien world. I got you. Everything paid. We gonna have adventures, but it's for a year though. But what you'll never get this chance again. What's up?
and I'm allowed to. Am I allowed to collect things that go on
Yeah,
this
you do
alien
whatever you
adventure and
want,
bring
bro.
it back?
So you can bring it back to the homeland, huh?
I don't care what you. He said I don't care what
Yeah.
you do at your planet, bro. You can take it back,
Go
bring it back
back.
if you want.
I'm writing that letter. Hey, bro, I miss you. I'll see you in a year, son. I love
Facts.
you.
Well, but okay, wait. The one caveat though is your safety guaranteed, or is this low key like a
Oh,
Rick
he
and
like, I
Morty
got you.
adventure?
He like,
he
even
said-
if they kill you, bro, I'll regen you.
Oh, all right, say less. Yeah, okay.
What's the risk?
Exactly. Nah.
Hey,
Answer my
hey,
question.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm keeping it a
Oh.
buck. I can't fix space AIDS, my nigga. So you wrap your willy. You feel me?
Nah.
Hold on, my man say even if you get reincarnated, you still got space age.
I can bring you back to
alien
life, but you
condoms
still
ain't that
positive,
strong.
bro. You
That's
still
crazy.
positive.
Condoms don't work.
all right, so would you go into that same world if you had to be reincarnated as a sock though? Since you want to talk about this whole sock shit.
My double S rank sock.
would you be a double S rank sock?
Reincarnate me, bro. reincarnating, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The whole time I
No,
was
Bro,
there,
you are not thinking about this.
No, Graham,
Think about
you
all
know,
the
you're
smell.
not thinking about it. No. Pause. You gotta think about a lot of broken isekai-ish, though, my guy. If you a double S rank and magic's involved, magic literally means breaking reality. There could be a spell
Bro.
that makes you look like a human. You see what I'm
just
saying?
like Rimuru.
Nah,
One
bro.
time I got reincarnated as a
All I'm saying is think about all these nasty feet that you finna be placed on in order to power people up to be able to do all this crazy stuff. Because you still a sock at the end of the day.
You gotta start from the bottom.
Right?
You feel me?
And literally the
I'm
bottom
a
of
double
people's
S
feet.
rank side.
Literally the bottom.
Hey, speaking of that, it just brought to mind. I forget to talk about this on previous podcasts. There's this old. I found out it came out a few years ago, but there's this anime called Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga, and it is hilarious to me. I haven't finished watching all the episode, but I watched the first episode. The concept is, it's like that Nobunaga, that warring samurai period. All of them have been reincarnated into modern day dogs. So Oda Nobunaga Cinnamon is what he got named by his owner. So that's why his middle name is like Cinnamon Nobunaga. But in his mind, it's Oda Nobunaga like talking a bunch of shit. So he's just a dog going around doing that, and then he's meeting these other generals, and then like what's his name? Like the Date Masamune, if you guys remember him, he's the guy with the eye patch in like the Samurai Warriors games or whatever. He's like reincarnated in this small ass dog, and they just be having like back and forth interact. Like I'm telling you, it's just fucking hilarious. Like I don't know, I think I just enjoy that concept of like when Japanese TV shows put like people in these like super serious jobs and like dumbass shit, like Way of the House Husband or like this type of shit. I just find it hilarious. But that show, I watched like a couple episodes, dying laughing, just looking at these dog generals talk to each other about shit. But then at the same time, they're fucking dogs. So
I'm surprised they're not going around biting everybody. That's what I would have thought.
They're not doing that.
You gotta activate strats, bro. You can't be buying everyone as a dog.
Yeah. No, they're not doing it. That's the funny part, is they are dogs. Like they still act like dogs. So like they're loyal to their masters and they be on PC and shit. But then when they get around each other, they start talking like military generals. So they just like, oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out who. But like Oda's trying to figure out who betrayed him when he died in the past. So he was just like, yeah, I'm trying to understand who betrayed me, and they like having interactions and trying to figure it out, and then meeting new like army general ass dogs at the same time. It's just, I'm telling you, it's hilarious. But anyways, I'll get off my horse with that.
The last one I kind of wanted to talk about, I gotta first of all apologize to Jugga because he been put us on To Your Eternity, but it took me a while to get on hook.
Wait, I don't think that was me though.
It was. You was the one that was hyping it.
To your turn? I mean, like I heard good things, but I personally haven't watched it though yet either. So that's what I'm saying. It's not me.
I've only watched an episode.
Maybe it's like Deuce or I don't remember.
You said you watched one episode?
Yeah, I watched one episode. It was all the feels.
Hey,
and then I was like, I could watch the rest of this, but I've heard like the internet was like, niggas was crying and all types of shit. And at that time, for like super emotional shit. So
he already got a baby doing all the crying for him.
Yeah, no, I just watched Ranking the Kings. No, this was before the baby was born, but like I watched Ranking the Kings, and I was like, I was already feeling some type of way about them treating in a way. I was like, I'm not finna double it up with To Your Eternity. I'm good.
I just keep it a buck. To Your Eternity is a for real emotional roller coaster, nigga. Like I was like, damn. The nigga that wrote this, bro, you fucked up in the head, my nigga. Like that shit hurt.
Yeah.
Keep it a buck. Boy, you tearing up?
Oh yeah, they got me. Cause like, bro, I'm used to the normal way TV shows work. Get introduced to a character, that's the main character. So like they got me once or twice. Like I was like, okay, now we got our main set of characters, and I'm just we going into it. It's been hella episodes. Oh yeah, I'm knowing these niggas. These my niggas, bro. Oh, yeah, the GOAT. The niggas just get fucking splattered, bro. I'll be like, what the fuck, bro? No, that show serious, bro. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, watch that when you are in a comfortable mental state. That's not
Comfortable mental.
when you're not feeling
So
good.
so do not recommend this to my wife while she's pregnant.
No, absolutely. You gonna be up late at night while she talking to you about some weird shit like, "Would you love me if I was a rock?" Yeah, no, that ain't it. But season 2 going hard. I like it. And for those that don't know, it's a show about basically an immortal being that when something dies near it, it can take their form and their memories. Um,
Oh.
and so far, he's been alive for about like 200 something years. So you go through all of his history. Ain't shit skipped.
Damn.
You feel me? So like, yeah, bro, been with my nigga Fushi. We it's crazy. Go watch it if you in a solid mental state.
Right.
Disclosure.
Really good story.
Okay.
Top 3 anime I'm watching right now, easily.
Okay, I thought you were about to say ever. I was about to say, whoa.
Nah, that ain't that good. It's good. It ain't that good.
Yeah, right. Okay. Jumping into the Trigun remake real quick. I only watched the first episode. I've seen some clips on TV. People have been saying good things. I'm iffy about if I'm going to keep watching it or not. I was hoping for a Trigun, a Cowboy Bebop, and a Yu Yu Hakusho remake for the 21st century, but I was not hoping for a reimagining, so to speak. And this feels a little bit like a reimagining. Like Vash is a little bit younger. The stuff with knives is, I think, a little bit more prominent than maybe it was in the show, because I only seen a couple of episodes in the beginning and read a few chapters. So I don't know if the knife stuff was so up in Trigun, but like they bring it in real early. Like they talk about the brothers in the first episode. They kind of give you the backstory of what's going on. Where I thought, from what I understood from Trigun, that all happened more towards the end. Like all this
Yeah.
revealed then. So it seems like it's more in your face with this show.
So is that like the
Are you
literal
ready to-
driving factor of the show, as far as like the?
So he
the
talks
conflict
about
with knives?
searching for a million knives, like in the first episode. They show like at the end, you know how they have those like villain cutaways. They did a villain cutaway to him looking for Vash, and then in the beginning, it starts with like their mother putting them both to like save them from some stuff, which is
Right.
all stuff that I thought really ends up being a twist or surprise at the end of Trigun
No, it was.
people, instead of something that was like, hey, these niggas from space and this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know about all that. So that's the differences that I'm already starting to see.
I will say this about it. I love Trigun, first off. Seen it a couple times. Think everybody should see it. Shit's amazing. But I think that in Trigun, they do tell you all these things, but I think they space it out throughout the show.
Yeah.
So you get bits and pieces, because like knives is prevalent in a part of the show from the very beginning to the very end. Is that you don't get the full information dump. They kind of spread it out. But I would also argue that that might have been part of the reason why people didn't fuck with Trigun maybe as heavy as it should have been fucked with. Because maybe it's a bit confusing. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to watch it a couple times to truly like kind of understand the story. So I could see somebody making that be like a artistic choice. Like let's give niggas kind of like the pre-information they need up front, instead of forcing niggas to watch the whole show and decide that they like it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched the new one either, but yeah, I'll watch it. I just want more episodes to come out and be finished, so I ain't gotta wait.
To me, my biggest gripe is just I want remakes of these old shows, but I want them to remake, like modernize them a bit, not reimagine them, if that makes sense. Like you can go to Yu Yu Hakusho and like watch it and go like, I can cut the fat here, I can cut the fat here, I can cut the fat here, and basically make like a Yu Yu Hakusho Kai. Because I don't think anybody nowadays wants to deal with that level of pacing that we had, back then. That's the bigger issue about just straight episodes to like what they did with Shaman King. But I even think with Shaman King, they made some small adjustments and it didn't actually feel that bad over the way they broke the seasons up. So I don't know if they fully. I can't remember how I watched the original Shaman King, so I don't know how much stuff was cut out. I know they made some changes, but I don't know if it felt like it was really
I think
cut.
they
I
got
felt
rid
like
of
I was
all the
watching the
filler.
same show. Oh, okay, so they got rid of some filler there. So to me, it's like you can get rid of some filler and then like I think speed up the way they get to certain things. Like Yu Yu Hakusho, like there was a few episodes of him being like a spirit and doing miscellaneous spirit shit, and then it was like, oh, now the Genkai stuff happened. It's like you can trim some of that fat, make it faster, and that's kind of what I want out of like a Trigun remake or a Cowboy Bebop remake. But Cowboy Bebop doesn't need to be shortened. It's already pretty thin to me in general, so I think it's fine. But those are what I was looking for. I don't need them to look back at those shows and go like, how do I reimagine this for now? Because I'm like the audience that they're targeting isn't the audience that's going to be drawn to it, in my opinion. When I see Trigun, I have familiarity with Trigun, not because I'm like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid who's like, oh, this seems interesting. Let me watch it. So I feel like when they do stuff like that, you're not paying attention to who's actually being pulled into the show. And who's being pulled in is like all the niggas that know Trigun from the 90s or early 2000s. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's my little soapbox about it.
So I mean,
Go ahead.
difference.
Oh, you gotta say that again. I think you broke up a little bit.
Yeah, he's skipping
I'm
out. He's
saying,
frozen for me right now.
Like, can you guys still hear me okay though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good now.
I was just saying, as far as like the last thing about the one thing I've been put off by it, or at least haven't wanted to start it, was just the animation style. It seemed a bit off to me. That at least, like, I guess I'm just kind of set in the way as far as the Trigun style, and I was hoping that with the updated Trigun, it wouldn't at least be 3D. It would just be more like an updated, nice animated 2D, like not like Demon Slayer, but at least like to that degree. You know what I'm saying? As far as like artistic
Yeah.
goes, where you didn't have to go full 3D. So I was surprised.
And in my mind,
Go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, just as a quick question, is it cheaper to do the 3D stuff? Is that why they end up going there? Because I feel like it must be cheaper as to why they keep doing this instead of the 2D thing. Because I can see that if you don't have to like, I guess, draw in the same way, like you're having computers generate most of these actions and movements, and then maybe using some motion capture. But like, I don't know. It just
That's a
seems like,
curious question.
especially with Netflix, they push a lot of their animes. Even though this isn't Netflix, they push a lot of their animes to that 3D style. And I'm just wondering if it's like from an animation standpoint, if that's cheaper, and that's why they end up going that way. Like Aijin did it. There was another one, Spriggan 12, that they remade that they also went that route with. And I'm just like, I'm just curious if anybody knows.
I mean, I know like some CGI scenes are definitely cheaper to make, but to to that degree, I just don't know. I don't know. It's
Okay.
good. It's an interesting thought though. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, that would honestly kind of just make me a little bit more salty. That it's cheaper, but it's like, damn, okay. I'm even less excited for it now, to be honest.
I would say, like, to your point though about the way the animation style looks, I would think that it's gonna. I agree with your point that if you're coming from original Trigun to this, you're gonna be disappointed because you're married to kind of that art style and that flow of things, and you want to just see that modernized. But if you were just coming to this as like a 3D animated show, I think it's one of the better ones. That's the way I'll put it.
Okay.
It's done better than some of the other ones I've seen.
All right, that's fair. So I mean, though you only checked out like an episode or two, what would you actually give the rating so far?
Um, it's not for me. I might continue to watch it if I have time, but like the way they're pacing and the story's going, I feel like it's gonna be one of those "it's not for me" type of things.
Is it slow or fast?
It's hard to say. I would say
Well, I mean,
I
if
would
you
say
got that
somewhere in the
full,
middle.
I was to say, like, if you
Yeah,
got
with
that full
one
plot,
episode in, it's hard for me to gauge. And then it's like I'm trying to watch a sub, and they're already. It took them a while to get them subs, so now there's only 2 episodes subbed, 30 minutes. the first episode was I told you that introduction, and then like the news reporter lady got introduced. I don't know if the second episode might
She a
introduce the
news
pastor
reporter
or
now?
whatever. Yeah, was she not before?
Wait, who?
The main girl that followed him she was an insurance agency or insurance person,
Oh
and they
yeah,
trying to
you're right.
find
Yeah,
her
she's a
because
news
he.
reporter.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Yeah, she's
interesting.
some sort of like reporter person. I don't think she's an insurance agent. So yeah, she was there trying to get a story, I guess. And then, his
same
whole the
deal
bounty
then.
thing's still there. So yeah, I would say like I said, it's a reimagining. So it's hard for me to see how it's going, but it's giving more of this like it's geared towards that like 16-year-old, 17-year-old, like a new fan into the Trigun versus somebody who,
Yeah,
does that.
Hmm.
you know, I think that. Well, let me see if y'all can hear me. My thing not showing up. Can y'all hear
Yeah,
me?
we
I
can
hear
hear
Yeah,
you.
you.
yeah.
All right, my thing not showing up as being heard. But anyway, I was just gonna say I think that it sort of has to be a little slow just to kind of get like the message of like Vash's whole thing is like you don't have to kill a person even if you got a whole bunch of power, basically Superman. But like I think it impacts harder when you see him go through all the trials and tribulations, managing to do all this stuff without killing people, just have to fucking kill somebody at the end. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So like I think it has to be a little slow, but I'm interested to see. Like I said, once it all is finished and I can just watch it in one go, I'll probably watch it. I like the series.
Yep.
Then
Mm.
I'll come back to y'all and let you know if it was ass or
Mm.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to jump pretty soon, so I'm gonna just toss out my MVPs and goofies before I leave, and then y'all can enjoy the rest of your discussion. I gotta give my MVP to Gentle. Shout out to my man's with the rubber band. The villains in general have semi made this little piece of trash a little bit more interesting. So I appreciate the Gentle comeback. That's all I'll say. As far as goofies go. This one is tough. I'm like my brain to see if I could think of anyone for serious. Oh, I would give it to CP0 because they got finessed. Kaku and Rob Lucci definitely got their ass curb stomped.
Yep.
It was gonna be sweet and it wasn't. Well, I won't say curb stomp, but like countered. And I think I appreciate One Piece moving forward into this whole whatever the
I
fuck
think
is going on
I
next.
think you are very accurate to say that Rob Lucci got curb stomped because he basically got dropped twice
Yeah.
in
But
the
once
span
again,
of what less than 10 chapters.
they built up that hype. No, maybe like because first we were already on the like they suck. They
Right.
built it up like maybe they don't suck, and
Right.
now it's like no, they suck.
No, they
So
suck.
I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all deserve kind of
I was about to
goofies for
say.
basically doing that bullshit of
Right.
like pretend like you was gonna do some shit and then didn't. But
Yep.
yeah, that's it for me. And then for Black Clover, shout out to Asta. Putting in work. I fucks with him heavy. Um, we're gonna see where this shit goes next. My Hero still sucks. One Piece doing good job, and then good job to all the side shit that's coming out. All right,
Hmm.
I'm out of
You
here.
you lucky you leaving because we were definitely gonna get on you about that gentle thing, but
Right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Hopefully next time I have more time, we can unpack it fully. But
hmm
all right, peace,
All right.
y'all.
Peace. All right.
All right.
That's the next thing we were going to discuss. You're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'll talk about Eminence of Shadow real quick. It's
Mhm.
another newish anime. They're in like the teens of episodes now. It came out like the what fall of anime, like fall winter. It doesn't matter. Anyways, the reason I bring it up is because one, it's just overall pretty decent, but two, it's like it's reasonably serious, not serious, but it's like it's a mad decent anime. But the premise of it is what like it's funny to me when you think about like the whole thing, kind of like an Overlord standpoint. But anyways, I'll get into it. So it's an isekai about a guy where in his real life wanted to be this kind of Batman anti-hero in a sense where he wanted to do like not exactly good-ish things, but he wanted to do things that other people would look at as cool. You know what I mean? Like he was like the kid who wants to be the hero slash anti-hero for other people to look at him as the cool hero anti-hero, you know? Like he would literally set up scenarios like in the real life where it's like, oh snap, my classmate just got kidnapped. It'd be really dope if I come out at this point in time at this place. You know what I mean? Like he would like try to literally scale it out where it's just like, damn, after she sees me effing save her, I'm gonna look like such an effing G. Like that's like his mentality, right? So that was like his real life. He ends up getting got out of like a stupid way. But anyways, excuse me, he comes back to life, you know, in the isekai, and like his whole thing is just to be like this broken character, right? But again, not a broken hero, but a broken low-key hero of darkness, in the sense that like he owns this super shadowy organization that just does random like just gangsta-ish in the background, you know what I'm saying? So there's already like a good side and a bad side, and his side is like the chaos that just effing does whatever the fuck they want, you know what I'm saying? So imagine, so like this is the isekai world, right? Imagine there's trying to think, like the main thing is kind of like a demon cult human organization that's like all about harnessing demon power, technology, etc. And then you have like the actual like kingdoms that more or less is like for good, want to do their own ish, but there's a little bit of corruption aside, and they're more or less doing a back and forth, right? But him and like him also his organization, you know, members being super broken, they would just come out of nowhere and just like, you know, like whenever there's a conflict between the good and bad side, his organization comes out and just starts to, you know, just like jock, like pretty much throw in like a chaos element of it. And in that, homie's just like, damn, what would be really dope right now? Okay, this fight's about to happen over here. All right, say less. I'm gonna low-key pretend like I'm super like Clark Kent, in the sense like, oh man, I'm so scared, I don't know what I should do. Like he's literally thinking this like, oh my god, I look so weak right now. But in the background, he's like, oh man, I'm just gonna go home after this. But then he comes out a little bit later like, oh man, I'm just super like leader of the shadow organization that beat down the main evil guy while people look at me in awe. And so it's like, but that's again all happening in his head. Like the plan is unfolding like how he wants, but on the outside, if you're just like a bystander looking at it, you will literally be looking like how he wants you to look at it. So that's like that funny element of him just doing gangster kind of typical isekai-ish, but going all along the plan of it looking like gangster isekai-ish by the main guy. So it's just kind of hilarious, the fact that it's like actually really dope, like the whole plot and like the animation, the fight scenes are actually pretty decent, and the whole power structure of it. But just that the whole story is just following this guy wanting to look cool, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just why it's like so funny looking at like every kind of interaction with them. But anyways,
like you said, SK out there for everything. There really for the people that try to make themselves look cool.
Just every season, I get amazed by a new isekai, just like storyline. Like it, like for like at least like the past almost 2 years, if I'm remembering right. There's just been the isekai genre is just having wild right now.
Hey man, I'm just waiting for somebody to get isekai into the hood. Let's see how that goes.
Woo! I got isekai onto the west side.
Instantly jumped. Hey, check it out. First thing they say, check it out.
I guess one time I got reincarnated on the trip.
Wow.
That would be funny. This is why white people need to start making anime, because this needs to happen.
Oh man, you go get somebody jumped.
Man.
Saying gonna glorify.
Oh, you know what would be funny? Real talk would be funny. It just have like a racist like slave owner reincarnated as a black man.
I mean, that ain't far from Uncle Ruckus. It would have been real.
It's Uncle Ruckus, but just see them have to navigate through that world. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
I watch it.
That'd be interesting, because honestly, I just don't see how Buddy even survives after like a few months, if that. I'm not gonna lie, like shit.
But you got to remember, he's in a black person's body, so he doesn't have those white privileges.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying like all of the the self-hate and just having like to deal with it. And then like because I mean you already know that all you gotta be is in one bad situation to say the wrong ish. And if you were like a past slave owner, like that's gonna happen like what within the first week. So it's like just to see how Buddy survives that interaction, that's what I'd be looking for. I'd be
Yeah.
like, homie's about to die literally within the first week of him being alive. If he
He gonna be
makes it, bravo.
he gonna be throwing that hard R every sentence.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Imagine
Like,
running into another black guy that's just hard R'ing you like, oh, no, chill out. He's like, no, you chill out, boy. Oh,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like how is he gonna survive again? Just what the fuck?
and that's the
And,
story.
and he
That's
gonna
what
try, and he gonna try to like to appeal to the white people, right? So I mean, I guess like as you said, it's gonna end up being an Uncle Ruckus, maybe, but I don't know. Like I just don't know.
All I know is it sounds like y'all making it right now. Y'all making the
Mhm.
whole script and the plot and everything for it right now.
Y'all remember that movie where man, what's that comedian? Chris Rock? Chris
Oh, yeah.
Rock got isekai'd into being a rich white man. He like died and white man. Y'all remember that movie?
I have no
No.
idea what you're talking
Like
about.
how old we talking? Like 90s or something? Or?
Oh, this came out in the mid 2000s. It was a Chris Rock movie. He was I think he was going to be president. He was trying to be president.
Oh, I mean
I
that wasn't. I mean that wasn't a white movie though. I mean like that was oh that was a
No,
head of state or something, right? I mean that's not
there's
what you're
one.
talking
No,
about.
okay, maybe I'm confusing too. There's one where my man died and got reincarnated as a rich white man. He was like
Okay.
in the hood and like trying to like date a black lady and stuff like that. Y'all,
have
y'all got.
no idea what you're
I
talking about right
honestly I
now.
never heard about it. I mean I'll have to Google this. Like
I'm gonna look it up. Y'all can keep moving.
okay.
Bad. I'm gonna be like, I've never heard of that movie. Watch
Yeah,
as soon as he says it. All right, what's the next thing we're jumping into?
Let's see. We weren't gonna do the OSTs. Oh, we were gonna talk about the strategist rankings and where like Ayanakoji fall.
True.
So
You got to give me some background on Ayanakoji.
yeah. So oh yeah, we'll start with that then. So okay, so Ayanakoji is from a anime called Classroom of the Elite, and Buddy is just a what's the best way to describe him? He's just kind of like a genius manipulator that initially came to the school as like a safe haven for like a background plot. We don't got to get into spoilers really, but he's more or less at the school to kind of just chill and get by. Like that was more or less his goal when he first enrolled, right? But based on how Classroom of the Elite works, it's more or less everyone using their own intellect to not only get good grades, but also to more or less survive. You know, like there's really like a point system enabled in the school where you have to use your points to more or less like buy food, clothing. Like it's your money as well. It's your money more or less. And in any case, because of X, Y, or Z, he's pretty much got thrown into a subplot where his class is trying to move up the rankings of classes by using a ridiculous amount of means, right? And like a whole bunch of scheming and conniving goes on by different parties, X, Y, Z. So he's like, all right, this is the life I'm in, then let's make this work, right? So from that point in time, he literally just starts like multiple plans, sub plans, and master plans to move him and his class along to like the top of the class of rank A from rank D. And in doing so, he is more or less by himself manipulating like the entire school and like on multiple levels and in ways that can reasonably be seen as like villainous, even though his personality and like he's just like you can call it he's either so smart or he's just like just mentally wired in a way where it's not like he sees himself as doing bad. He sees himself as only completing the goal of getting to rank A, like one of them personality, one of those personality types. You know what I mean? Like you don't really think about how a person's gonna feel or think about this. You only care about what you do to make a person do X, Y, or Z to benefit yourself. You know what I mean? But he does it in such a way that it's just, I mean, like you think that it's like, oh man, he's making a mistake, but he's really not. Like there's always a
It's
plan
all part
to
of the
every
plan.
single thing he does. Like everything is a plan. Everything is a plan. Even when you think there's not a plan, even when you think he's failing at a plan, it's all a part of his plan.
Like
He's
even
one of them characters.
like it'll even show him like in shock, like what? But then
Well,
it's actually all part of the plan.
I mean, like, yes, but no, because it's just honestly that's one of the things I like about Ayanokoji, because his face doesn't change throughout the entire series. Like he literally has just like a resting chill face. Like no matter what happens, Buddy's always chill, which kind of like supports that. Like, oh, like I may be slightly surprised, but it'll still low key within my calculations, so it's whatever.
Yeah,
But I just think that's kind of like a mental thing. Oh, what's up?
The most I see him give people is like a huh.
Right,
You know what I
like a slight looking like you know, like this was like, oh, I only saw this happening like as a 10% probability, but you know what, I already prepared for it, so it's all good. Like that's kind of.
I'd like to say this is my negatives about his smarts. Yeah, he is at a school that is academically competitive, but they even state at the beginning it's not all about academics. It's competitive in like many ways. So it's not like he's just at a school full of geniuses. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Two, he is competing against like zero competition. You know what I'm saying? At best, you got like a guy that was like pretty crafty. You know what I'm saying? But never did they go like, oh, you're competing against somebody who is like your contemporary, like you're a genius like you. It's I feel like he is just a really smart kid at a school full of possibly pretentious people that are not as smart as they think, and he's shitting on them by being like decent. You know what I'm saying? None of his plans have made me go, oh shit. Even some of his plans where I've been like, yo, if you didn't find that girl's camera, you would have been fucked, right? Like that was kind of a little bit of luck. You know what I mean?
Uh, I mean, I mean, that's where it comes into. I mean, how do I phrase it? Like, is it really luck to say that this is the plan that ended up working out, right? Because I mean, like in other cases, though, we've seen like a plan work out, but he actually mentioned like a couple other things he could have done. It's a little low key at those times, but my point is that is it really true that if you didn't find the camera he was X? Because I feel like he would have still made that work because of X, Y, or Z. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, this is what I'll say. Her having pictures would have been like a major wrench in their plan, right? But she wasn't able to get those pictures because he did make the effort to go looking around in case anything like that was left. But like the fact that he found it, he didn't use any extra tracking skills. Like he even was like, "Oh wow, look at that! Like I got lucky and found this." You know what I'm saying? So like his plan that worked wasn't solely a part of like pure skill. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is he smart? Absolutely. But when I start to think about him compared to like other strategists in anime, like I don't see what's Buddy from Promise Neverland, Norman.
Hmm.
Norman doesn't have a plan where her pictures fuck him over. Norman Bennett thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Norman doesn't get lucky and go, "Ha, I lucked into my plan working." He been had that ready for you. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Ayanakoji, and then also it's just like again, Ayanakoji has great plans. I still gotta have him as a upper mid tier strategist because again, he is not competing with anybody or in any extreme situations. He's put in situations where you benefit from strategizing. They are putting him in the world like, hey, sir, please do this thing. You are in this lane to do this thing. Now do it. They have to push him to do it when usually he just don't even want to. Whereas we think about other strategists like Norman, like Shikamaru, they are in situations where people are trying to kill them. There is no, we don't want you to succeed, sir. Everybody wants you to lose because you gotta die. And then they figure out ways to work around it. I can't put Ayana Koji up with the top tier niggas when his competition is low. He's put in the situation to do it. and I haven't seen any super amazing strategy from him.
So you're saying that if he was in Death Note, he would have got caught by L way earlier than what Light did.
I got a caveat to that. I would say that on average, I do not believe Ayanakoji is smarter than Light. However, what I have noticed, specifically, Light got caught for being hot headed and trying to kill Lindell Taylor.
Yeah.
That is why Light got caught at the end of the day. He would not have got
Facts.
caught.
Oh yeah.
Ayanakoji would have been like, this nigga talking shit and walked away.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So technically, Ayanakoji would have done better in the Death Note situation than Light because he's cool headed, not because I think he's smarter. But now, if we put Ayanakoji in the situation where Light was in with like the paper and the wristwatch, like, bro, you got to think about what you gonna do when you don't even know you the bad guy. Ayanakoji getting booked in that case. Light went crazy with that plan, bro.
I mean, I do gotta give him the big ups. The one thing I do gotta say though is that I think it's man. It's like your logic makes sense as far as to you don't want to give him potential credit, but I feel like it works both ways, right? I mean, like I feel like what you're saying is that there's more or less no proof to see what he would do in situations where he has competition of relatively the same level, which makes sense because you are right. Like what we've seen so far as like other students that truly has his intellect. I mean, this is pretty much going to be the next season though. Check it out. But we just haven't seen that yet. So like it's tough to really say, like how is he going to do against fair competition? Again, that's fair. At the same time, you could say not the complete opposite, but it's just like you don't know, right? Like you don't want to give him the credit, but there's still a chance. So I mean, like in that respect, I would only just say that maybe a little asterisk to say that more information is needed, but to say that he definitely isn't ever going to be up here, I feel like that might be a little bit of a stretch. I do want to give you big ups as far as to mentioning again though the cool headedness, like again as far as the facial expressions too, but Buddy really does always put up his 100%. Like throughout the entire series, he never has a moment of him lacking. You know what I'm saying? Like he operates at more or less 100% throughout the entire time, which other characters, at least have always been at least in a stress situation where it's like, fuck, like what should I really do next? / like I'm in this mental state. I need some time to recover to get back to my good mental state. So then again, go along my 100%. Which it seems, at least the proof that we've seen with Ayanokoji, we've never seen him been in a stressed state. Like just because he's just always cool headed.
That's what I was trying to think about. I was trying to think about the whole Shikamaru thing, where if Shikamaru's in a rough situation, he has to do that whole little where he has to put his hand into that little symbol in order to like really think about what are all of the different possibilities and how should I navigate them. He doesn't have. You guys haven't seen that type of proof yet, where he had to actually sit down and think about.
I mean, like
strategy.
It's a little tough to say. At least they don't show it in the series as far as to him like literally thinking. We just more or less see the results of his plans. So that's another kind of, I guess, stuff to say like how long it really takes him to come up with said master plans. It's a little tough to say. So I'll give you that one too.
I mean,
the one other plus though I want to mention, as far as like just identifying all his pros, is that at least again in his own student atmosphere world, he's got martial arts and he has physical fitness. So he's not just a genius. He's not just a strategist. At least within his own world / capabilities, he is physically fit and top tier physically fit. I will probably argue too, considering the kind of beat down he had been dropped Class C in that season finale. So
All right,
I
Batman.
mean, say again.
All right, Batman.
I mean, real talk. So I mean, like when I say that, as far as like a true battle of, I guess, like not just strategies, but making stuff work / opportunities and like true, like I guess his true arsenal and tools. If we're like putting him into different worlds where other strategists exist, I would think it's a reasonable argument to say that he is definitely in that tier of other strategists, if not more so, as far as like true physical capabilities. For example, Shikamaru with Naruto, like homie's got decent chakra. He's got some either KK Genkai or like his, jutsu's up there. Like just
One
to
sec,
like,
I'll be back.
no, you're good. Like just to like consider that as far as the mindset. So I don't know.
I'll say that I might be willing to put him at a comparable level to Shikamaru. One, because I do not consider Shikamaru in the upper echelon either.
Hmm.
But I mean, solid B rank. If A and S is the highest, solid B rank. I consider him up there with Shikamaru. But that is also me giving him like like you said, the speculation bonus of that. All we got is a little bit of hype from his background, but we technically haven't seen him against anybody. But that don't mean nothing. He could be the GOAT. So I'll give him off that. And the highest I can rank him up there with Shikamaru, but not up there with like some of the greats.
Hmm. I mean, again, for clarification, grades, you're talking about who? Just for the audience.
So like my toppest tier of strategists in anime are like people like Norman, that's S rank, L, S rank. Let's see.
What's the guy with the he had the red eyeball or
I was
whatever?
gonna mention it. Fuck, I can't think of his name right now too. But you're talking about Code Geass.
Yeah, from Code Geass.
Lelouch. Yeah, I put
Yeah.
Lelouch maybe like
yeah.
A rank. Light A rank. You know what I'm saying? The dudes that could be good, except they got somebody in their own universe better than them. So like people like that be A rank. And then B is for the people that are like, hey, you're a really smart guy, Shikamaru. You got strats, all that stuff. But I don't think your strats allows you to just fold your universe. Nor do I think that if I put you in other people's situation, you'd survive. Right?
Hmm.
I don't think Ayanakoji hasn't shown me that he can go into Norman's situation, which I think is one of the wildest situations to be in and survive. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
don't think you could give
That's tough.
somebody else the Death Note, and I don't see Ayanakoji catching light. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Which is one of the hardest things anybody on this thing could do. If you want to be S rank, my idea is if I put you in the same situation L is in, do you catch light?
Hmm. Hmm. That's
That's a good way to think about it.
that's tough. I mean, like it is a good way to think about it. I would have to probably consider some ish. I mean, probably. I mean, one thing I got curious about because I don't know much about. I mean, maybe you guys do, but the the actual IQ concept as far as to like genius level is this number of IQ and what that really means as far as like the averages, blah 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 blah. And I was just like literally looking up like some base information, and supposedly Ayanakoji's IQ is between 180 and 220. And isn't Einstein's only supposed to like just for like a sake of example, only supposed to be like 160 or something? Well,
Yeah.
where it's like literally like the minimum of 180 is like already into like supernatural almost like territory,
Yeah, I
right?
mean he a supernatural strategist, which is why he gets on this list in the first place, right? If you're not up here, you're not on the list. But then Shikamaru was also put at over 200 for his
Okay.
IQ. So
Okay.
again, I think like that lines up for me. I consider him about there.
All right, fair. Actually, now I just got myself curious again. What is that
So
information?
that actually makes me curious about this one thing, because there was this one show I kind of like saw. I was looking at a summary of it, where basically they had all of these different assassins, and they were all put into this one arena where they all had to kill each other. Where basically they had swallowed some type of gem, and in order for somebody to receive the cure for that gem, they had to kill all the rest of the assassins, and then they'd be able to get the cure and get one random wish, no matter what
Oh,
that
wait, you
wish
talking about the
was.
Zodiac?
That might be what it was called. Yeah,
Yeah, I
they were
know what
all
you're
like
talking
based on
about.
animals.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and there was like one guy who was able to like simulate all different
Yep.
possible scenarios
That was
that
the
can
rat.
happen throughout the course of his life. is that something that you would call a smart strat, or would you say that that has to be something that's like power
So
based?
so like his ability, just again for like clarification, this is from I forgot the anime, but I think it's called like Zodiac Battles or something. It's like literally like 12 like Graham said, 12 assassins that actually got a whole city. And they were literally like the whole goal was to kill each other, blah blah blah. And like each assassin was based off of like one of the Chinese zodiacs. And the I guess already like, spoiler alert, but the assassin who had the power of the rat had the ability where at any moment of time he can more or less see 100 potential future situations, and he had to choose that one out of 100 to survive. Now mind you, he has no physical ability, like literally, like he will die from like a typical fist fight, while everyone else has like literal superpowers. He's going up against like 11 Supermans, right? And like his whole thing was, I can see the future, so I have to avoid death slash also find out the best path where everyone is kills each other off besides me, so I win. So
Yep.
pretty much at every moment in time, I forgot like the true criteria, but the big thing is that at any moment in time, he can see 100 futures, then has to choose one. Then more or less do it again and again and again over the span of the whole battle. Probably took, my guess, maybe like 3-4 hours, something like that. So he literally did this like hundreds of times, looking over hundreds of possible futures until, again, spoiler alert, but he ends up winning where everyone kills each other off except himself. So
Yep.
that's the background.
So is that something that y'all look for when you guys are considering, okay, this person is a high strat character? Because I know that sometimes we can view this stuff as like superpowers or whatever, but
I would give him big ups for it, but I would say yes and no, just for the simple fact that it was shit. I guess with 100, yeah. I mean, you do need a good amount of strats to survive in that kind of situation. True. It still seemed though that it's how do I phrase it? It's still lucky, because like you're still more or less choosing between amount of options. Where in my opinion, like strategists still do stuff to make the future slash goal that they want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's tough. Like in the end of the day, he's more or less saying like, all right, let's just do that. Compared to, what do I want to do? Let me make this happen to do that. Where it's like, to me, it's like it's a slight difference where it's like I can't really put him up to the true strategists that literally have to come from nothing. Like he's still being presented with futures. But in this case, in like the other main strategist's case, they're making futures happen. I don't know. Like to me, I feel like there's just like a slight difference there. That's like he may be right under that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if
okay.
we put in that situation like a Lelouch, a Light, a Shikamaru, Ayanakoji, whoever, I feel like they're able to, like, they wouldn't have to go through the full 100. You know what I'm saying? Like they would, like, as soon as they see like one possibility in that example, they could already know that that's going to be the good choice.
Mhm.
That's how I feel.
Okay. I guess I always thought as IQ people as people who thought about all of these different scenarios and said, okay, this is the best one.
Right.
Especially for
So
people who are looking at like what you guys are saying, this Ayanakoji guy, he's planning out however long it takes for them to get from class D to class A.
right.
He's looking at all of these different scenarios and saying, okay, this is the one route that's going to get us to class A.
Right. I mean, more or less. But I don't know. I mean, VP5 definitely made some good points. In any case, there'd have to be a good amount of assumption and speculation there. But I think a good challenge for him is pretty much going to be as far as the next season, as far as
Hmm.
to P5 mentioning, as far as like true competition, because like the next chick who's ahead of this class that he's more or less going under is like literally one of like his side like sibling kind of like what do you want to call it? Like experiment
They
brother,
always in that
sister,
white
whatever.
room.
Right, the white
Mm.
room.
Yeah.
So in any case, she should be of like more or less the same IQ as him, if not maybe a little under, a little over, whatever. But this will be, I guess, like the real thing to see, like, okay, she's gonna put him under like some questionable scenarios, but if he ends up treating this as like he's treated everything before, then I would definitely give him like a couple of notches up then, considering our talk from today. If he does show like some emotion that we haven't seen before, if he gets shown actually making some mistakes, then I'd be like, okay, okay. If he's already struggling against like one other person of his level, giving him this much trouble, then it's like, all right, like as far as dealing with supernatural type of problems that you don't even realize is supernatural and have to come to that whole like world perspective change, then yeah, it's like he probably can't deal with that kind of stress. So that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's legit.
All right. So we want to move on to manga highlights.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So I mean, Black Clover. Really my highlights from that. I don't know. I think well, as far as Black Clover, obviously it's in the tail end of its series, so it's just like
Wrapping up.
let's wrap it up, y'all. But the thing I found interesting was that Sister Lily, the paladin, literally has 0 hands. Like this is the first time in Black Clover where I think a fight was just mainly fucking words, and like Asa just one shots her. You know what I mean? Like
I
I thought you
mean,
would.
yeah, but it's like you be honest. You didn't see that coming though.
I mean, I this is what I'm saying. I knew he wasn't gonna spend a lot of time fighting on him. Anytime Asa gets a power bonus, the first person he fights is quick, short business. I knew it was gonna be short, but dog, it was one hit.
But I
Wait,
mean, like,
the
I'm
spell
not even
used
talking
wasn't even
about.
against
I mean,
Asa.
but personally, I wasn't even talking about like the power bonus. I mean, it was you mentioned like a fact, but I'm talking about just the whole Sister Lily point of it. I mean, like I literally saw like there was gonna be either a speech or a talk, heartfelt moment. Like I knew the battle itself wasn't gonna be real. Like there's no way. I mean, even when like she first showed up, I mean not first showed up, but like when she first like turned, I mean even that wasn't like a battle, right? And like as soon as I didn't even honestly think about it before, so I'll give I guess Black Clover, but it's also my inattentive to realize that he did get transported by Sister Lily's ability. Like I didn't even think about it like that. It's like, oh, okay, so Sister Lily didn't mean to like body him, even though she definitely should have within that moment. Meaning that she still had control, meaning that it was going to end up more or less happening like how it was. Like they already prefaced that. Like I felt kind of dumb watching it. It's like, damn, that was kind of obvious, wasn't it? That was like shit.
I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to see Summer Magic, and it's not really just her. Like the whole Paladin thing. I like. I remember I said this from the beginning of Black Clover. I like Black Clover's take on like D&D role tropes, and then they
Mm.
kind of turn them into like a whole thing. So I was excited to see what the Paladin would be, and it seems as if it's just Paladin in name only and just like they have nothing special about them except maybe they got some extra demon magic. But as far as Sister Lily went, like you didn't get to see it. She did her classic Sister Lily punch and then got fucking one shotted. And then this is the part that disrespects me the most. They took 2 chapters to do that. Bold.
Bull.
Those are my thoughts on Black Clover. Is that like I used to praise Black Clover for cutting the bullshit and getting straight to it, and
Mm.
right now they're seeming like they're going with the normal model of like, let's stretch this out though.
Mm.
So
Eh, I mean, fair. I mean, the only slack I'm going to give them is that, I mean, we know it's on the downswing as far as like the series finale. So it's like, I mean, if they're going to do it anywhere, at least they're doing it here, right? So it's like, I don't know. It's I mean, we'll see. As far as like overall, though, since the last time we talked about Black Clover, though, and the whole like just power system of the, fuck, the people. Fuck, I cannot think about the people called the shit, like the samurai land. Well, just for the sake
Land
of
of the Rising Sun, people.
thank you. As far as like there's like their overall land, power structure, etc. I mean, all that to me was dope. I mean, as far as like the whole grand scheme of it, like I enjoyed everything about it. I mean, it's just kind of like another note that's like, fuck, like why is the series ending? Like you still like you can literally do this
They
a
could do a
couple
spin-off
to
with
3
that.
more times and like still be decent in my opinion. So it's like, damn, why is the series ending so soon? But that's just more like I guess the sad feelings of it. Like again, seeing this downswing, but we'll see.
Well, moving on from that, because literally, I think both of us would agree, like, man, Black Clover could probably pump out 3, 4 more years worth of content just with how crazy
I
dude
agree.
is going with the world building.
Yeah.
Let's move into an anime where that's not the case, and they need to shut this shit down. My Hero Academia. God damn, man! Like,
Oh wow, dude.
I mean, shut this shit down. Yo, anime, your manga cooked. Turn it off, bro. But you know something? I'm gonna say this right now, and this is to go back to what MGG was saying about Gentle being his MVP. Gentle and Lady Nagant were fucking trash to me, and the reason being is for what we just mentioned. My Hero is dragging on. It is doing the classic anime thing of stretching the nothing that they have left into 3 more years of content, and they need to stop. We Deku is already strong enough to punch reality out of existence, and somehow he finds a way to need Gentle bum ass and Lady Nagant bum ass. Like,
Yep. Because if they really wanted to, they could have low key made it where Deku touched the whole place where they were sitting on and made it just float on its own. If they really wanted to, they didn't have to bring Gentle back.
right?
Or they could have somehow made Uraraka do that. She could have got poofed through the darkness or whatever and touched the whole stadium and boom, now it's floating again.
Concentrate on it. You know what I'm saying? Just boom, it's floating.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely don't think it was worth bringing him back because I'm not a big fan of when they always try to take somebody who's on an evil path or I'll say the less righteous path and then try to make them redeem themselves. I'm like, if some niggas want to be evil, let them be evil. Dang.
Especially Gentle, because my man was really just out here like thieving for real, knocking off Walmarts. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't really no villain. Like,
yeah, he was
why
a
is
thug.
man out here fighting for his life? He should have skipped town.
Yep. Big facts. Big facts. But then they wanted to hit us with the whole talk no jitsu. So he's back.
Yep. Literally what it was. It's like, damn, like out of all the characters, like they choose I don't know. It seemed so out of left field. It just seemed like whatchamacallit. Damn. Effing up my vocabulary.
It seems like these niggas are trying to make Avengers Infinity War or Endgame, where the scene where they open the portal and every Avenger that you ever seen come through this motherfucker and give a quick quip.
Right.
And like, you know, part of me is like, yo, I got respect because y'all respecting effectively the source content that you drawing this from, superheroes in American, the big spectacle, all the big action set pieces. I love it. But then you're doing it in a manga way. So it's like, bro, wrap this shit up.
Facts.
There's only one nigga that anybody in the fandom wanted to see, and that's Lemillion. We saw him. All right, everybody else, bro. Yo, cut. They doing something out there in the show.
Then he ain't do shit.
He just mooned it.
He ain't do shit.
They really
if that was anybody that they probably should have put some respect on is that nigga Lockrock, because that nigga still
no. Actually, I'm glad you
put some respect on somebody black, bro.
But the fact that they actually brought him back to do nothing. Like I haven't seen him in a minute. Like,
Exactly.
did you notice he was in that chapter to bring back effing who was that, Lady Nagant, or was it?
He been in a couple of chapter panels, bro. He been in panels here and there. He be in the background
to do,
but he don't do shit. That's what I'm saying. Like put some respect on at least somebody black within the show. That's all I'm saying. He's the only black character, and he's arguably one of the most trash characters in the show. They could at least put some respect on him at some point somehow. Let the nigga lock the stadium or something.
If put respect on a black character, mean I gotta get one extra chapter of this bullshit. I'm good. In the series, bro, just let me know how to end so I can be done.
Crazy.
Done.
I feel you on that. Yeah, they are dragging it out way too long though.
Yeah, dude. Like, how long has this battle been going on? Shit.
This has got to be 2 years. We got to be in this.
Are we really at 2 years?
No, I can't. It can't be that long, bro.
It got to be 2 years, bro.
Damn, I'm curious.
Are you just talking about this specific battle?
I mean,
this specific battle.
Oh, I mean, since it's been like bad on the bad swing, I mean, yeah, it's been years. I've been just talking about like the clash, like the Infinity.
You talking about since the villains started breaking out of jail? That's what you're thinking about.
This is why I counted from the moment they rehabilitated Deku. Right when Deku was out there being bad, Deku, they rehabilitated him, came up with a plan, put the plan in action. I consider this is one long mission, and this got to be 2 years into this mission.
You talking about from the point that the point that Naval Laser met up with, I think when he met up with All For One.
When they consolidated all their people, right? They finished. They like, yo, Naval Laser was the snitch. We got Deku back. We consolidated everybody. We decided what the goal was, how we gonna do it. They got everybody and went out. At that moment, that's when I consider this mission started. And we definitely on like 2 years in this motherfucker. Got it.
Really?
I gotta look that up.
If it's 2 years, that's rough. That is.
I mean, what is this? What is this? February 23? So that means February 21.
February 21 sounds like a hit. That sounds like that's on target.
I gotta look that up. That's cute.
How much you willing to bet on that?
Nothing. It feel like it's been 2 years. It might only been 6 months.
I was gonna say you willing to bet that Goofy of the year on it?
No, I would give you more than 6 months though. It's definitely been more than 6 months.
Oh yeah, it's easily more than 6 months. Yeah,
I could maybe see a year. 2 sounds like a stretch. I'm curious.
Else y'all got to say about My Hero Academia?
No, trash.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
And One Piece. Y'all want to talk about that?
I just got one question. Given that we're bringing in clones, like actual legitimate clones with powers and all this other craziness, now I'm starting to wonder how many niggas are actual clones of other prominent people within the show.
No,
because now I'm seeing stuff all over the place. Oh, Zoro is a clone of Ryoma, or Luffy is a clone of Raja. I'm seeing all this stuff all over the place.
The one thing they did mention is that the amount of resources needed to even make a clone, bro. Like no way. There's like a whole clone army out there that's just on the low key. Like no, that's just one. That's just typical One Piece fandom throwing another theory. That's all it did. That's
technically, the Germa has an army of clones on some Star Wars. On some no, they have They have a whole army of these basic ass niggas that just they're meat shields and stuff like that. The Germa 66. They technically have an army of clones. So I'm like, if he has an army of clones and he's not at Vegapunk's level,
I mean that's you're still talking about apples to oranges right now, right? Like the clones they've mentioned right here are literally OGs, like the warlords, bro. You're gonna really see that. Oh, yeah, there's definitely some Yonko clones out there. There's definitely some Apple clones out there. No, come on.
But no, we're not talking about those little robots, these kids. We're talking about Stussy. This is a whole human being that's been living here for many years, and nobody knows that she's a clone.
But she was the first one. They did mention she was Zero. And I will say that if you're gonna start off zero with her,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
would be.
If she's the original, how many other motherfuckers could be actual clones out here? That's what I'm saying.
But
If she is so perfected as a clone of the original Stussy, how many other people could they have possibly cloned? That's why they're saying Luffy could be a clone because he technically was born after Stussy was the new Stussy was born, or they're
I
saying
mean,
that
you're
now they're
still.
saying that Weevil might be a failed clone of an actual failed clone of Whitebeard, and they're saying there's a lot of possibilities of people being clones out here now.
I'm just saying. I don't think it stretches to. I don't think it stretches to a significant level. If they want to
Mm-hmm.
pull some BS just to be like, oh, we got another clone over here. I mean, where it's like not even a main character, but like one of the side piece, like One Piece characters. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? Fine. I mean, the One Piece world is so effing big now. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give you that to give you that. If they actually mention something significant to the sense of this is a clone of blank, and this is definitely important because blank. I think that's just a whole new element that's just so unnecessary. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the biggest purpose of the whole clone thing was just to introduce why Vegapunk himself is just more of the G that we've already given credit for. That's the only thing I'll really say there. You know what I mean? Like if anything, it was just, like I said again, just another device for him to get out of this current scenario. If anything, I would actually consider that being an A pool.
So
Because I don't know.
you're saying that he would just have one clone that he's ever made throughout the whole show.
Again, I'm not just going to say like only one, but only one of significance that we've been introduced to so far. And you got to even think about that. Like Stussy, we've more or less just been introduced to her recently too. You know what I mean? So for it to be stretched that far is what I'm saying. It just sounds like a big effing stretch. Plus, how many clones have we been introduced to right now that don't know that they're clones? You see, like Stussy knows she's a clone. Like she knew from the jump, you know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm.
effing like cloned warlords, they got effing green blood, I mean, they effing know. I mean, they literally have commands that they must follow because it's been wired into them. All right. For them to introduce that there are some other clones out here that don't know they're clones, and somehow like they're gonna get to the main interaction between like the elders, and they're just like, nah, you a clone, sit that down and listen to my story. Just like, man, why am I sitting down? I would be hot. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, like, are you ever joking, bro? That's where it's all led up to.
And
Like, come on.
Inuyasha sit.
Right? That's literally more that's what it is. So it's just like, bruh, no way. Just no effing way. Right now, I just felt like they're just playing games to play some games. And honestly, if we're talking about like the whole moment with CP0 in general, the fact that Kaku and Lucci were already getting got, I
Yeah.
would even argue that Stussy, at least in that capacity, wasn't even really necessary. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that more or less her being a clone, again, was just unnecessary. So unless she shows some more ups than what we've already seen to like her true benefit of being a clone / being a true homie to Vegapunk, I don't know. Like, I got to see some more to really give it even the weight that Stussy deserves.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like, right, long story short, the whole clone concept is One Piece is literally Oda yet again throwing out ish to get the community hot. That's it. That's it. That's it. Which I mean, it's a tried and true method for him. So I don't really
Yeah.
blame him for it, if I'm being honest. I mean, this is just how One Piece goes. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like community, y'all need to chill out, bro. Like just a little bit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I will admit, I will be very disappointed if somebody of significance is a clone.
Yeah,
That
man.
would that
I
would be
mean,
pretty annoying.
shit. It's like just why? I mean, like right now, the whole manga of like One Piece now is like I'm actually haven't been this excited for One Piece in itself for a while because we finally got information as far as like the Void Century. Like finding that out was like, oh shit, that's what this is about. Okay, okay. Like stuff is like finally starting to really line up as far as like the true grand scheme of the whole plot to One Piece. Like, oh shit. And like even like the whole like Vegapunk being a fruit user regarding his brain, that made complete sense to me. Like like I was completely down for that. Like Vegapunk is a true genius now, and they actually have a reasonable reason for that. And I would even argue they even hinted almost to the end of it, more or less being his brain can low key be wired to almost anybody in the end, because that could be how the government loses power. Just
That's the internet.
Everyone, right?
He created the internet.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah. That makes complete sense. Like everyone just getting hooked online, boom. Government loses power because everyone becomes educated, knowing about all the BS that they really be about.
He said, boom, Twitter.
Low key. In a way. So I mean, I was even liking that. It's like overall, One Piece is hot. I'll give him that. Clones, I'm gonna forgive him. I
would love it if he was able to like connect the whole world together, and then somehow niggas were able to instantly torrent stuff. Who be like, oh, so niggas are online pirates and real pirates in real life. Okay. Okay.
Get ratchet as fun. Nah, that's why we're gonna end the series when that happens. Like,
yeah, right.
To try that. Oh shit.
But that's all I have for One Piece. I was just curious about the whole clone thing.
No, you good.
Let's go ahead and jump into the MVPs and Goofies.
Yeah, we can wrap it.
Okay. I'll knock mine out real quick. My MVP is I got two, and I got two Goofies too. My MVPs are first Brock Purdy from the San Francisco 49ers. To be a rookie and basically go undefeated until the conference title. It's pretty and the third string player at that. Pretty wild. If he'd have won the Super Bowl, that'd have been a legendary story, but he didn't. But still, shout out, good shit, bro. And then the other MVP is a show called Parent Test. I would suggest every parent or prospective parent, or even if you just like judging parents, to watch it. It's pretty fun. It's a show where they take a bunch of different parenting styles and then have their kids do like these different tests to see which parenting style works best. It's fun to watch. It's interesting. Okay. It gives you a lot to talk about, especially if you're a new parent, prospective parent.
What you trying to tell us?
Like it. Oh, I ain't know. At some point, I'm gonna be there. You feel me? That ain't the point right now. I'm a prospective parent. You feel me? But for y'all that's already in it, might be a little more useful for y'all too. Also, with that being said, everybody, please make sure your kid know not to answer the door for fucking strangers. That shit's scary. My Goofy is Rayo from Blue Lock. For those who don't know, there's like this super genius that can like stop any pass. Like he's just really good at like playing soccer and stopping passes. And then there's this other guy, Rayo, who basically rides his coattails to the top. And then when that dude finally like, hey bro, I don't need you no more, I'm gonna go be my own man, he get mad. Fuck you mad at another man for wanting to go be his own man for you, bum. You a Goofy. Okay? And then Gentle, because we didn't need you, bro.
Yep.
You left a bum, stayed a bum, came back to do bum shit. Next.
Can't wait to hear MGG's counter argument with Gentle. But I guess I'll go next. My MVP was that sumo wrestler from Record of Ragnarok, just because that man was living for the snoo snoo and died with the snoo snoo. I was loving it. And and then I was kind of struggling with coming up with a Goofy, but just given how this week went, I'm gonna just give it Dallas Fort Worth for this this snowstorm that we had niggas locked in the house for the whole week, bro.
Oh, it worked?
For the whole week.
How much snow was it?
I mean, it's not like it was like Chicago snow or anything, but it was definitely, the ground was covered in snow, in which it was extremely hard snow, so we'll call it ice, where niggas cannot drive around or walk around at all outside.
That's tough.
And you know that they don't put snow, they don't put salt or anything on the grounds out here. And niggas were still driving like 70, 80 miles an hour, so you know that they were crashing all over the place. You know they don't play they don't play in Texas.
It's the warm weather, but it's colder there than here now. Climate change, motherfucker. That's how I ain't seen no snow in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, we were definitely trapped in the house for the whole week.
Yeah.
Hey, but we back out though. We out here.
We
had our mini COVID.
As long as you got it together. For MVP, what I've actually been, I don't know how I got like in this rabbit hole, but I got into the rabbit hole of Korean dramas. And bro,
Good rabbit hole
Korean
to be.
television is something different, bro. Like
Mhm.
it's not like it's crazy, it's just different in very interesting ways compared to, I mean, I've mostly been checking out like kind of a Korean crime mystery, slightly supernatural thriller shows. And like the whole like their story structure is just different than American television, as well as like the acting and even I don't even know what you would call it, but something I noticed is like a super fun fact. I haven't never looked it up to feel like it's real, but I feel like it's real. Something you'll notice in Korean action television when driving is that they will always put emphasis on putting on seatbelts. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter if it's a car chase. They will literally show the camera of them putting on their seatbelt before starting to drive. And I feel like that's a legal thing because it happens too much. And it's just like, man, this crime guy is getting away. He's like running to his car, gets to the car, buddy says, doo-doo-doo. And then like go back to like super quick action based ish. It's just like
Okay.
one of like it's like one of those things that's just like funny to watch. And like another thing that I noticed is regarding fights or again regarding crime as far as to like truly chasing crime. One thing that stood out to me is just like, why is this mother effer not pulling out the blammy? And then I actually was being like, wait a minute. Gun laws really are different over there in Korea, where it's like the typical cop does not have a gun. Like it is actually incredibly difficult for whether it be like a crime boss or not, for like anybody to even have a weapon. So I'm just like, why are there so many just actual like physical chases slash like all out physical brawls happening in like cops versus gangsters versus whatever? And like that's not just for TV, that's the real life over there because they don't just be having blammies to pull out like willy-nilly like that. Like they need special permission and like a whole bunch of paperwork for even a cop to use a gun to even be out there, period. You know what I'm saying? That's like, bro, we know the criminal is strapped up. So for this one time, you can have a pistol. Like that's how it works. It's just I don't know, like just noticing like just like societal differences and then that being translated into the television along with like a whole bunch of other features. It's just been really interesting to check out. And some of it is just like really good television, if I'm being honest. So in general, giving it up to K dramas, there's definitely a pretty some pretty good ones out there. As far as like the supernatural bit, a whole different talk about it, but they can pull off supernatural television really well too. But anyways, so that's my MVP. Goofy, I've been having struggle for the Goofy too. In shit, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say not for the goofy definition that we have for goofies, but goofy as far as just being funny goofy is actually Magic and Muscles yet again, just because we're down to like, I believe more or less the final fight. I don't think for the series, but at least for like more or less the start of the series to like this whole season, like arcs leading up to this big bad villain. Even in the main villain fight, is just they just make it comedic. You know what I'm saying? Like it, again, yet again. I mean, I've been praising the show since it more or less came on, but it really has the awesomeness of action with the goofiness of One Punch Man, like completely down packed in a different scenario. So even in this main fight, you seeing like, you know, like the main guy having like the goofy face, like, bro, I'm just doing this because I want to have a good day tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, again, the final fight, like, the whole world is in jeopardy. It's just like, bro, you want a cream puff? Like, it's just like stupid, goofy stuff going on in there. Like, within, again, so like some real dope effing action sequences, you have like the background people just doing like, how the fuck is this even happening via physics? Like, again, like the goofy face, like the One Piece, like, what? Like that kind of face. Or even like main guy does something super crazy and like, random anime trope of, oh my god, 10 out of 10, that was a perfect move. You know what I mean? Just but it doesn't, you don't see it coming. So it's just like all around goofy, but it still fits as far as the whole aspect and trope of the show itself, but it works. So it's a goofy show, but amazing show. So is about to get animated. You heard it here first. It's gonna make waves. Promise you that. So definitely check it out. Bam.
Magic and muscles.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
All right.
And it looks like that is it. Thank you guys for all joining in and listening on this episode. We will see you guys in the next one.
True that. Until next time.
Peace. All right.
This mother effer, bro. Dirty.
Hey, before I leave real quick, Jugga, I was gonna say you should check out Juvenile
Justice.
Yeah.
I think something like that, where it's
Yeah,
like I saw it's low key on my list. I saw like a snippet of one of the episodes, and it looks interesting. That's the
I watched that the first season. I enjoyed it really good.
yeah. Same, man. Some of these shows, man, they have been, man. What was another, like, as far as the supernatural aspect, like Hellbound? Hellbound was definitely crazy, bro.
Is that the one with those three things? They be running around swole as hell and putting people to hell.
Bro.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess you had to roll. Wait
All
for
right.
this. Oh wait, it's still recording.
I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna jump back in under the main account and stop it.
Oh, okay, bet. All right then. I'll see you.
Peace.